Church of Scientology so afraid of?
This is SPTV.
Were you a Destiny's Child fan?
Of course.
I know, right?
Of course, all of it.
I mean, like way back. I'm like Bugaboo days. Like
yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Big.
Yeah, and I'm like, they have to have like 7 sets of lungs with that song. There's nowhere to breathe. I was like, that's not fun. What was your first album like purchase?
Oh,
Do you
you'll
remember?
like this.
What?
Paula Abdul.
Paula Abdul.
Yeah.
You'll like this. I had that on cassette.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, it was black.
I think we are like the same age.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
40.
40.
Oh, boom. Oh, 82, baby?
Yes.
Boom.
82.
Yeah, it was a good year.
It was a very good year.
It's a good year. No, that's amazing. That was one of my first. Yeah.
I had the cassette and
Yeah.
wore it out.
Me too.
Oh my God, I was just the biggest fan of hers. I mean, still am, but that was just revolutionary for me. And I thought it was so sort of like naughty and sassy. Like,
Of
remember
course.
like Cold Hearted Snake?
Yeah.
Was like
she was
such
on,
a like
on that video.
that
Yes,
video. I was like,
yes.
ooh.
Yeah, remember Cold Hearted Snake, Elizabeth? Remember that little song? Remember that little song, Cold Hearted Snake? Because I remember that one very, very well myself. I was also a child that loved Paula Abdul. And did you know how many ethics cycles I had to do as a child, Elizabeth, for dancing to Paula Abdul's Cold Hearted Snake? And, you know, given that I am like 3 years older than you, right behind you, but definitely doing a lot of ethics cycles because I was found to be dancing to Cold Hearted Snake from Paula Abdul, and I was exhibiting, what is it that they were calling it? Being out of valence is how that was being pitched to me when I was found to be dancing that song.
Who now when you watch it,
Now
it's
it's like
nothing.
so nothing
It's so
compared to what
tame.
you see now. Yeah, of course. But you know what's even better is I just remembered tapes, like cassettes. My children will never know what rewind is.
Oh, yeah. They won't.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like pressing rewind, that just hit me. I'm like, now you just go back to where you want to go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You drag it or
If you
something.
got lost in the middle of like a side, you had to go back and like 2 songs.
Rewind, fast forward, rewind,
That was
fast
a
forward.
journey.
Yes, it was a journey. Anyway, I just thought of that. Was anyone in your family musical?
Yeah, everyone actually. No
Oh.
one was in acting or film or TV or anything. Everyone was music business with jazz and blues. Yeah, so
That's intense.
I know.
Yeah, jazz and blues, right? What was it that your dad was doing for Chick Corea, Elizabeth? Because maybe y'all want to GTS it very quick and find out what is already on the public record that Elizabeth Moss's dad was doing with the money of jazz artist, Scientologist, just artist, Chick Corea. Chick Corea, who definitely took it upon himself to hire a minor to travel, you know, across the world with him. Remember Luke Burns, Chick Corea, and Elizabeth Moss' dad? Remember Luke Burns. Remember how old he was when you were, you know, shipping him all around the world to work for you? Given that he was definitely a minor, and given that you were a very, very, very much celebrity Scientologist, is what we were being told ad nauseum at the, you know, Flag Service Hotel, where you definitely were on President's lines, right, Chick Corea? I mean, all of this infection of child trafficking kids, you guys, hit the celebrity lines. They all saw them doing it at the hotel, so they thought, well, you know what? Their parents are going to be just fine with us doing whatever in the hell we want to do. Come work for us. Child labor laws didn't apply to adults in small bodies. That's all it took for these adults to buy the hugely infantilized pitch from convicted felon L. Hubbard. Imagine that, you guys.
Musicians,
Yeah, yeah,
if they're
yeah.
playing
They're
jazz.
real,
Yeah.
real musicians. Yeah,
Well, I heard that you shared a room with your brother.
yeah, of course.
Was that fun since he played music? Was it?
Good question. My brother and I are really close. I loved him very much. So now I'm nostalgic for the days that I shared like a room with him at.
Let's all see the picture of Elizabeth Moss having a very close relationship with her brother, so we can really document the evidence, the photographic evidence that we have about celebrity kids having it much different than Sea Org kids. You don't see Miss Moss with a pike in her hands. That did not happen to Miss Moss. She wasn't born in the Cadet Org. She wasn't born at the Golden Era Productions Ranch. She wasn't born at the Fort Harrison Hotel. Miss Moss was part of the celebrity culture, the privileged celebrity culture that get told ad nauseum how special and wonderful they are, who aren't slated to become slaves for other celebrities, given that their own personal connections guaranteed someone like Miss Moss, the poster child of white privilege, literally, Miss Moss parading her white privilege around like she doesn't care. So you, Miss Moss, should really take it upon yourself to CC your entire team and start scouring the already completely available on the public record photographic evidence of just how different your childhood was, given that your parents did like to go get serviced by minors, including but not limited to minors that were at CC being recruited to hold all manner of jobs and responsibilities that Ms. Moss, you guys, is extremely aware that these minors are doing, being tapped to be the ethics officers of adults and other minors, including but not limited to. They're tapped to become auditors for other adults and other minors, including but not limited to. They're also tapped to become the course supervisors of other adults and minors. So thank you, Elizabeth, for showing us your amazing photographs of your amazing childhood. Really, really, really thank you for that.
At the time, though, of course, he was my little brother and he loved to talk and was very chatty. So he would sort of keep me up all night talking, which now I'm like, oh, I miss that. But of course, at the time, he kept me all night.
Yeah, and you're like, just shut up.
And then he got a
Yeah.
drum set.
And then he got a drum set.
And then he got another drum set.
Oh, you guys, isn't it nice that Miss Moss had just the most wonderful, adorable, cozy, childhood with, her little brother, that she's so upset that he's not so close to her anymore. Never mind that Miss Moss had a living situation that has nothing to do with what the kids who didn't have a shred of a connection to a celebrity were being treated.
Multiple drum sets. And that's when he moved downstairs.
Oh, that's amazing.
underneath my room.
Oh, that's not
Yeah.
so great. That's not. So you constantly have the heartbeat of your brother.
Exactly. So we got him the
pumping.
like electrical drums with the
Oh, with the headphones.
So
Yes.
it was better, but you could still hear the like.
Oh man, my poor mom. I played violin
Oh God.
and not well. Like she was a trooper.
That is
But
brave.
it was brave of me. You grew up in LA, so
Yeah.
did doing things like going to Disneyland? Because I lived in Orange County for a little bit whenever I was a kid.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, like right by Disneyland. I thought it was so
Okay.
cool, and we went all the time.
We went all the time.
Yeah.
We did not live in Orange County. We lived in Laurel Canyon, but we went.
Yeah, you guys, why don't you like save your Kleenex box that you were like holding next to you to get ready to really start, wiping off the tears that you thought you were gonna start shedding when Elizabeth Moss, who apparently Kelly Clarkson, you guys, is not able to GTS. That Elizabeth didn't just, you grew up in LA, right? Like, just, yeah, let's keep everything very kind of like, and I get it. Kelly Clarkson is not the corporate investigatory media, you guys. So we're giving Kelly Clarkson the entertainment show that she is, the credit for herself. But never mind that we find that Miss Clarkson not really doing a shred of GTSing on the background could have helped her understand better who she was interviewing. But you know what? It's Kelly Clarkson, and she is an entertainer asking Miss Moss generalized questions, where Miss Moss is telling us that, she had an amazing childhood going to Disneyland all the time, in her 2-bedroom Laurel Canyon house, where her white privilege could not be more on display for the entirety of the United States to watch, as she gloats about her childhood, and she gloats about how amazing she had it. She doesn't have the stories that Jenna Miscavige is talking about how she was cramped in with all these kids. She doesn't have the story of how Astra Woodruff and her little sister told us that they ended up in a disgusting place with all these depersonalized, military wannabe bedspreads. No. Miss Moss was living it up in her 2-story apartment or house on Laurel Canyon, where, even when Miss Moss was inconvenienced by the noise of her brother playing drums, they did take it upon themselves to buy one of those electrical ones, so that, Lizzie wouldn't be upset, right, Miss Moss? Because your parents were very caring of you and your brother, but your parents didn't give a shred of an F in regards to the kids at CC. Right or wrong?
All the time was like 40 minutes away.
Yeah.
Multiple times a year.
I'm still like a grown-up that loves to go.
Are you kidding? It's like
Yeah.
my favorite place.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like
I
my
haven't-
children get excited, and then there's my excitement. Yeah.
I haven't been since the whole pandemic thing, obviously. But I used to go every year. And
Yeah.
recently, in the past like few years, I discovered that you could get a guide. So if you like pool a bunch of friends,
Life-changing.
game changer.
Yes.
So it's not like cheap, but if you get like 5, 6, 7 people and you all pool your money, like you can get this guide who basically like gets you through the lines. And what's great is you focus on the rides, you get on more rides, which is the objective.
Yes, but so what's
Yes. Miss Moss, you guys, the multi-millionaire that Miss Moss is, the $30 million that Elizabeth Moss is worth, that wants to play relatable Lizzie right in front of Kelly Clarkson, because, Miss Moss's PR team is definitely behind Miss Moss, curating all manner of press interviews that Miss Moss can do to really continue to, amass more than $30 million, because why not? I mean, Elizabeth Moss is an incredible comedian actress that likes to play sick, sadistic jokes on all the kids that all the kids at the expense of all the kids that Miss Moss and her parents and the rest of their celebrity buddies took it upon themselves to, exploit on the side because, this one that came from Mexico, well, who are your parents? Oh, yeah, you'd be great at, making beds in one of our hotels. But, you are going to save the world. So don't you worry about anything. Just give us your passport and then you're going to have an amazing time. And you're 14 years old? We have a place for you to really help us do a lot of good so that Miss Moss and her parents and everyone else can have their way. Because why not? We live in a free country, right, you guys? Where, slavery is very legal in this year 2023. Yay, America. Yay, yay, yay.
Is that you go, this is a first world problem, but they put you on the ride so fast
Oh yeah.
that your body
Yeah.
never has the hour or two that you're
No.
usually waiting in the lines.
Yes.
So your body, so then all of a sudden you're like, like, you're about to barf.
I
and
used to be able to ride Space Mountain like multiple times in a
Tops,
row.
too, for me.
And now I'm like, I think I'm good.
yeah.
I think I'm good.
And I have to I'm so old. I've planned food around when I can ride or not ride. I'm
Yeah.
it'll come back up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, that's great, age.
Yeah.
That was the look.
And shout out to, Kelly Clarkson, you guys, who at least keeps it real and calls it first world problems. At least she does have a shred of self-awareness, knowing that, it's okay for her and Lizzie Moss to discuss how, they get special guides to go to Disneyland and take all the rides and da 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 da, while the kids where Miss Moss is a paid member to, including but not limited to the Manor in Los Angeles, the Manor Hotel, where it all started for Elizabeth and her parents, where they did hit the lottery, the Scientology lottery, gaining access to Chick Corea that did have a lot of money for a while. But apparently, he's missing money. And apparently, Miss Moss's dad might have a shred of an idea what could have happened with that. Allegedly.
Season 5 of The Handmaid's Tale. You can see it now on Hulu. The show, for those who don't know, is about a dystopian world in which the United States has split, forming a country called Gilead, in which citizens are forced to play specific roles. So your character...
Replace the word, the made up, fictional, BS word that Margaret Atwood came out with to write that book, you guys. Gilead means nothing. What Kelly Clarkson just pitched to you is called Scientology, where people are tapped to play all types of roles that they definitely take on upon themselves to be very serious about what those type of roles are, as long as they're getting something out of it for themselves. So let's make sure that that's clear.
June has escaped Gilead 4 times. So where do we find her this season?
I am not in Gilead at the
Okay.
top of the season. I am in Canada. She's trying to kind of recover from the terrible sort of murder that her and her friends committed at the end of last season.
Yeah.
I like bringing these stories to your daytime show.
Yeah, we just like to cheer people up here, Elizabeth. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Elizabeth. As if your made up BS, pathetic Hollywood production jokes that you play at our expense. The kids that did get trafficked in those hotels, not in Gilead, in your made up world that doesn't exist. Not as part of a book that Margaret Atwood, Feminist of the Year of the Century, Miss Atwood, that did also think to make a mockery of the pain of all the very real victims of another science fiction writer that I'm sure Miss Atwood could have taken it upon herself to quickly GTS before deciding that a show that Miss Atwood is already on the record stating she had so much creative control and say over apparently was not any shred of a problem tapping Scientologist of the millennia, Elizabeth Moss, to really play that sick joke to our faces at our expense, because it's not like Miss Moss doesn't know that she's not special. She's been told her whole life that she's very, very special, you guys. That's what's on the record. As she gloats. How many times she went to Disneyland, how many times a year she goes. She just loves it there. She just lives it up. And while kids aren't having a childhood in the hotels that Miss Moss and her parents are paid patrons to, her whole entire family definitely is having a very jolly old time at, it's a small world after all, coupled with, Space Mountain.
Afternoon. So she's recovering from that, and she's also trying to figure out how to be a mother and a wife and a human and a woman, and also be somebody who has gone through extreme trauma.
So like a lot of people now, like that's a very relatable thing.
Can be, very much so.
Yeah. So what perspective?
Oh yeah, look at Elizabeth Moss, you guys. She can really relate to a lot of people that have experienced really a lot of trouble, a lot of trauma. Right, Elizabeth? You really, really do.
Has the series given you on what's been going on with women and women's rights and everything right now?
I
Because
mean,
it's kind of eerie.
Yeah, I liked your documentary.
Yeah, that was Jordan, our writer. He was very funny.
That was good.
Yeah.
I mean, as a human and as a woman and a citizen, of course, I have my own feelings and my own, what I think is right and what I think is wrong.
Yeah.
When you're a part of a show like that, of course you get so much more of it, and it's a part of your everyday life, and you're living out these scenarios.
You're faced with it.
You're faced with it every day, and you're having conversations every day about it in a really deep way, which I have found very fulfilling, and I have found very eye-opening and very educating, because now a lot of people come to me, a lot of people share things with me. I hear people's stories and from all over the world, and it's been a very gratifying experience as a woman.
Yeah. I love that.
Oh yes, Elizabeth, I'm sure it's been such a gratifying experience for you. Connecting with so many women, hearing so many stories, and your entire PR team doesn't have access to Google. Your entire PR team has no access to GTSing. They have it not in their brain power to type Scientology and forced abortions. Because it's not like you're playing a sick joke at the expense of all those women. Not like you're not playing that sick joke that you're playing on TV on all those women that were in the Sea Org getting that stuff done. And as much as you purport to have done your so-called research and all these conversations that you're finding so gratifying as a woman and as a concerned citizen, what are you concerned about, Elizabeth? If you're not concerned about the forced abortions that are taking place in those hotels, to including but not limited to minors, as Laura De Crescenzo is already on the record with a very valid lawsuit that had to be filed, that had to be settled out of court. Google that. Add that homework to your PR team. Tell them to Google Laura De Crescenzo, Scientology forced abortion case. Because trust me, there is plenty of headlines for y'all to start reading and getting, informed, just to make sure that you are a very gratified woman. So why don't you and your team do that research and, complete the full-blown gratification circle that you're on right now.
The direct impact. I think that that's when people do learn and progress, is you have some kind of direct impact to whatever that causes or whatever thing is happening.
Yeah.
And I think that's important.
It is. And
It is, Kelly, but you shouldn't be speaking to Miss -0 self-awareness woman of the year. A woman who literally has learned how to be relatable Lizzie when she needs to be, how to be a raging, exactly what in the hell we mean when she needs to be. And she can just, climb up her ladder. It doesn't matter how many bodies she has to step on in order to amass her fake fame and fortune built on the very real blood of actual child trafficking taking place inside hotels. So I'm sure that, having a front row seat at all of the dysfunction inside those hotels, a la Miss Moss, is really opening her eyes. Is she really having her eyes open, you guys? Or is she still literally not giving an F? Which one is it?
we're telling.
That's why I think this kind of series is important.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we're telling our story through one lens. We're telling it through June's lens. It's called The Handmaid's Tale. It's her story. But I hope, and what has happened, and I hope continues to happen, is it does continue to open up the space for other people to share their stories, whether they're similar or not, and other people from other walks of life and other people
perspectives.
with other perspectives. And I really enjoy and value that conversation.
We enjoy and we value that conversation a lot, Elizabeth. So we're so happy that you enjoy and value the different perspectives of all walks of life, starting with the one walk of life that you couldn't be more familiar with, literally, since you did grow up in that culture. So that walk of life is called the Sea Org. That walk of life is called billion-year contracts. That walk of life is called minors from across the world recruited to be turned into slaves in those hotels, to wear disgusting military uniforms that you witness firsthand for yourself. So when you can tell us the type of sick, disgusting humor that you are into, the sadistic, disgusting humor that you are into, please advise, literally.
Especially, I love being at a table when people don't agree.
Yes.
Because I find that exciting, because you learn something.
Absolutely.
And it just, I love those kind of conversations. Most people don't, but I do. Or most people I'm around don't.
Yeah.
But I do. I love it. I genuinely get excited about it.
How you learn.
So I love this. You're directing it.
And shout out to Kelly Clarkson again, you guys. Is it me, or are you guys also thinking that Kelly kind of is trying to be like, hey, maybe I can plant a seed with Miss Moss here and say, hey, maybe you should sit down and allow someone to ask you real questions. Maybe you should, have a little backbone for a tiny shred of pushback, Lizzie. I mean, that's the little underhanded message that I see there from Kelly Clarkson, because she might be more on our side than we know. But with that little kind of like, oh, yeah, isn't it a great idea to sit down with people that you disagree with? And, Kelly making it about herself, that she likes to do that all the time. And of course, Elizabeth, just like the little clown that she is, goes, ha 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 ha, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. As if Elizabeth Moss would sit down or have a conversation with anyone she doesn't agree, you guys. That goes against all the memos that degenerate, indicted, convicted felon in absentia, L. Ron Hubbard, wrote. He says, do not listen to a shred of person that tells you that what in the hell I'm telling you is a bunch of bullshit. L. Ron Hubbard gets very pressed when anyone finds their human intellect being able to call out his sham, disgusting, grotesque AF group role play that he roped in all these people to be a part of.
Really get excited about it.
How you learn.
So I love this. You're directing again. I
Yeah.
think that's exciting.
Thank you.
Not every actor wants to do all the things. And I think that's really cool that you love like challenging yourself. So what's it like directing Bradley? Like y'all work together on West Wing. So is that weird? Because you were very young on West Wing.
I was 17 when I met him, and he was my age when he met me, which is crazy.
Do you remind him and make him feel old for that?
All the time. All the time. No, he's just, we have a very close friendship. We're like we've really close personal and professional like partnership.
Yeah.
But he directed this year too. And we have to explain these photos. Okay, so he directed this year and he did episode 9. He was like, can I shadow? I want to like, and I was like, I don't know what you're going to learn from me, but okay, Bradley Whitford, come on and try to follow me around for a bit. And I put him to work. I made him play every character in The Handmaid's Tale. I made him learn all the lines. I made him stand in for me. And so those pictures, I don't know if they could show them again, but those pictures are him, Bradley Whitford, television legend, multiple award winner, been in every movie,
look
basically
at his eyes.
working for me.
I love that.
Look at how bored he looks. He's looking at like Twitter.
You should just frame all of these and send them to him for like Christmas or something.
I totally should make like an
It would
album.
make me nervous though, like with a friend to be like, to have to like kind of be the boss in the situation. That makes me nervous.
Really?
Yeah, even now, like I've been friends with these guys for like, well, most of them like 20 years, they're 10 plus. And it's weird for me to have to be like, hey, let's do the, I'm not good at like, I don't like leading, although I have to sometimes. I don't like it. Do you enjoy that?
I don't mind it.
Oh, good, you guys. Elizabeth Moss doesn't mind humiliating and having someone under her thumb. And you know what? We're not advocating for that little actor partner that she's so close friends and besties with. Whatever in the hell Miss Moss and this old man that's being whatever for her is none of our concern. But if you think that Miss Moss doesn't like ordering people around, you don't understand what in the hell gets taught in that disgusting hotel culture from hell.
Oh, really? I don't enjoy it.
That's so interesting. I wouldn't expect that.
I love following.
That's so interesting.
I love it. Yeah. Ask any of my friends. I don't like to make any decision.
Really?
Where do you want to go to eat?
Oh,
what do
that's so
you want to watch?
interesting.
Yeah.
I kind of like leading.
No,
but
No, but I have to, like, all
You
the
have
time.
to all the time. That's what surprises me. And
drives
you're,
me nuts.
you're very good at it. I would.
You're
I mean,
very
look at you,
nice.
so successful.
It's just a bunch of people behind the scenes making it work.
Well,
but
that is true, though.
it
Like,
is true.
It is true. Like
Yeah.
the leading is kind of, there are times when you have to make the decision and you have to say what needs to be done. But a lot of the time it's partnership and collaboration. And that's how I feel like, you know, with Brad, I don't feel like I'm leading him. I feel like we're partnering, and that's the best place.
Maybe
to be.
that's the best kind of leader. Yes.
Oh, well, maybe.
Yes. Nicely done.
Well, there-
Relatable Lizzie pitching herself as relatable ad nauseum because, yeah, she really believes in partnerships, you guys, because you know who does not have a shred of a fair partnership going on for themselves? Bingo. The kids that get signed up for the 1 billion contract, 1 billion year contract, not dollars, Lizzie Moss and PR team. The contract that gets signed in Elizabeth Moss hotel sponsored membership are not cared for whatsoever with any type of contract that benefits them. So if you want to explain why that's such a religious thing that they're sacrificing on that for your behalf, Elizabeth, since you know, you do like telling people what to do and you do love power. I mean, if that is not clear, you know, just because Miss Moss makes a little funny face, ha ha ha, we're not laughing whatsoever. And there you go, you guys. What have we learned today? That celebrity of the Scientology year 2023, the real joker that Elizabeth Moss is, the real joker and degrader that Elizabeth Moss truly is, with as many of the elites that run in her little small circle of people purporting to be intellectuals, purporting to be using art as a way of expressing themselves, because we live in a free country. And isn't Hollywood a beacon of hope in the American dream? Because, yeah, they really care about social issues, you guys. All those women that are adulating Elizabeth Moss, all those women that are out there marching with the bonnet and the red whatever in the hell the pitch from Elizabeth Moss and Miss Atwood is about a fictional Gilead that has never existed but kind of existed, and everything is according to what has already happened, but it's all a sick joke made at expense of kids. And why in the hell Hulu executives who cannot GTS, executives who cannot give an F that their owner, Disney, is run by people that are profiting from kids. So why in the hell Disney is not seeing any shred of problem in tapping Elizabeth, any shred of problem on all the credible allegations and lawsuits, including but not limited to Laura DiCrescenzo, including but not limited to Claire Headley, Sunny Pereira, and so many other women that have gone on the record already speaking about denouncing the fact that they were being cajoled, that they were being forced into doing the unthinkable to babies that they didn't want to abort. This is the other side of the coin, you guys. These are women that say, I want to have my baby and I want to leave and I just want to go be a mother now. I don't want to be in this hotel anymore. Nope. What the hell's wrong with you? Nope. You need to stay. Nope. You need to help us save the planet. So when Elizabeth Moss PR team can take it upon themselves to write a sensible statement together with all the Disney people that they need to go check in with to really explain what was always on the record already. That would be a day when we start getting somewhere. But as of today, in this year 2023, The Handmaid's Tale is a joke paid at the expense of all the victims that are not in any type of fictional right-wing infiltration type of sect. So when Hulu, Disney, who are the enablers of Miss Moss, who have been pitching her as this revolutionary feminist, can stop playing their sick jokes at the expense of real kids that do get to suffer, when that day starts actually coming to a full-blown reckoning, you guys, we're gonna start getting somewhere. But meanwhile, I'm sure all the Disney, Hulu executives, William Morris, and all the other enablers of Miss Moss that have fallen for the sick joke that this all is can explain themselves. We will let you know what in the hell they can say for themselves. We will let you know if all of those school years spent at all those universities to have certificates to purport that they're special and elite actually mean shit. Or if they just had not a shred of spine and no matter of education that they took, they were always gonna take the corrupt, easy, cheap AF route. Because in case nobody has gotten the memo, that's what being in a cult is all about. I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys extremely soon. Bye-bye.